And above all, he told her he wanted to be an exemplary grandparent. Marta wrote just a few weeks ago, Terry told her he loved cooking. Some of you may be aware of that. And he had a collection of knives. He had knives for every purpose. He had a knife for cutting vegetables, a knife for cutting chicken, a knife for cutting beef, a knife for a boning knife, a bread knife. And they laughed together when Marta told him she had one knife, which she used for everything, and it was very dull. A few days after this conversation, Marta received a package unexpectedly from Amazon, and it was a bread knife from Terry. And of course, she loved the surprise, not just for the knife itself, but for Terry's thoughtful gesture. Marta once asked Terry how he managed to stay married for so long, and he told her that marriage has its ups and downs, but the most important thing was he was still in love with his wife. Another member of this international online group, Daisy from the Dominican Republic, writes, Terry was a lovely, kind-hearted man. He was the gentleman of the group who always showed up for the weekly online gatherings with a big smile and the true intention of helping Spanish speakers learn English. She continued, Terry left a space in the group that no one can ever fill. He left a legacy of love, care, and friendship among all who knew him. As Pericles, the Greek politician and general, wrote in the 5th century BC, what you leave behind is not what is engraved on stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others. Terry's friend and colleague, Carol Costa, is a member of another group that Terry was a very loyal member of. He attended the Vivillon, formerly Whistle Stop, online class, Spanish 2, on a very regular basis. It was an intermediate level class, including a variety of abilities in Spanish. Of course, Terry didn't need the class. He was there for the Spanish communication and to help, to enjoy participating in this language that he so obviously loved. He was a great addition to the class and a great help to her, Carol would say. Carol, do you want to give, I know you're seated out there somewhere. Carol and Jim, you're also another member of that group. And when Carol wasn't sure about how to say something, she would call out, Terry, what do you think? Es correcto? And he often had a different vocabulary word that would add to the richness of the language and the translation. And it was a joy having Terry there. Carol writes, it was wonderful to discover that he was a willing and perfect substitute teacher for the class. On these occasions, Terry added his own material, including talking about experiences that he had when he was in the Peace Corps in Bolivia. The students loved him, to the point that Carol said she sometimes considered abdicating and asking him to be the regular teacher. We also came to know in Terry a special tenderness and consideration for any of us who were having a problem. And Carol writes, he was open to everyone regarding his own health problem, and she often thought, oh yes, he knows what it's like to have a serious problem, and he feels it deeply for others. He was so special, and we'll miss him very much. Thank you, Carol. A few years ago, I was confined to a wheelchair with a broken leg, and Terry not only picked up groceries, he ran errands, he gave advice on dealing with insurance companies, he frequently stopped by to entertain me and my 94-year-old father. And as Carol alluded to, Terry often invited others to join him on visits to folks who were suffering from some illness at home, or maybe they were in a hospital. Terry liked to give advice too when asked. Once when I was at a loss as to what to get Nancy for her birthday, I decided to ask Terry for ideas. I figured, who better than the husband, right, to ask, who might know what his wife might like. And with a very serious expression, Terry told me, Nancy would really like some bikini underwear. That was the first and last time I asked Terry for his ideas. So we have, Nancy is going to speak to us for a while, and then we have, as you look in your program, we have other family members and friends who have been selected to speak today. Nancy.
Just wanted to say that I'm his daughter, Teresa. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. And he would have been really honored to see all of these faces out here today. I think even more people. We were just excited to see all of the RSVPs coming in. And he really wanted a celebration and a party. That's what he always told us. He didn't want a funeral. So we wanted to honor him today. And we encourage you all to, stay afterwards and share your memories and your adventures with him. Have a drink in his honor. And thank you guys for being here. And my mom has some memories to share.
So can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I was going to share this. Terry was a wonderful, fun person. He was a loving husband and father and a caring friend, always interested in learning new things and eternally optimistic about life. I thought I would share with you some of his favorite things that you may or may not know about him. His family was really important to him. He really liked being a husband and a father. He loved his 3 sisters and all their many children and grandchildren. We traveled back to Illinois every summer to visit them. He loved having his nieces come and visit him. He always treated Teresa and me like royalty, preparing delicious meals for us, chauffeuring us everywhere, fixing everything that was broken in our house, often bringing us flowers, and wisely helping us deal with our daily problems. He sometimes even made our lunches for school with sweet little notes tucked inside. My friends always said that he spoiled me, and indeed he did. He was very big on helping people, whether as a tour guide leading them on a new adventure in Mexico or Guatemala or Great Britain, or showing up with his trusty red pickup to help friends move, or helping his insurance clients translate their bank or rental forms, or just being there and holding friends close when they were grieving. He loved the Spanish language, and he worked hard to constantly improve his vocabulary and pronunciation. I told his recent Spanish class of adults how he would often study a book of Spanish verb conjugations before bed at night. That is dedication. He used Spanish in his Peace Corps days in Bolivia. He led Spanish-speaking tours in San Francisco. He taught in schools to students of all ages. He worked with various Latin American tour companies, and he had a mostly Hispanic clientele in his insurance business. And he enjoyed being welcomed into Caesar's loving Spanish-speaking family after he and Teresa got together. And many of them are here today. We're so happy. Terry loved to travel, and we traveled much of the world together. After every major trip, it seemed like he would always say, "That was our best trip yet." It seemed like he would, his favorite place was our yearly vacation share on Isla Mujeres in Mexico, where he felt like he was with his people. Living in Fairfax gave us the opportunity to be out in nature a lot, another one of his favorites, hiking through the redwoods, on the trails around Lake Lagunitas or Deer Park, or driving the windy Bolinas Road to West Marin or Point Reyes. As his lung disease progressed and the pandemic forced us to stay home more, he got very involved with friends online. Our weekly pulmonary fibrosis support group, his Tuesday Spanish class, and his beloved large Spanish-English learning group, made up of people from all over the world. They met weekly on Zoom and greeted each other throughout the day on WhatsApp. He spent much more time at his computer, tutoring people online, writing his life stories, as well as listening to all kinds of music. His taste in music was varied, from classic rock and roll to opera arias to songs in Spanish or Hawaiian or country western music. And so Teresa selected the music that you were listening to today from a playlist that she found on his computer. Some other Terry trivia. He had a longtime pet tarantula named Raquel. She lived in a terrarium in his office, and then when he retired, she moved in with us. He loved the color green, hence we have green furniture and a lot of green stuff around our house, and he spent a lot of time wearing green shirts. Someone once gave him a couple of ceramic pigs, then everybody started giving him pigs. So our house and garden has pigs tucked into every corner. He always said he wasn't fond of cats, yet he rescued baby kitten Rosie from a dumpster by his office and brought her home to join our other 2 cats, to the delight of Teresa. After the cats moved on, he liked to sit on our deck and watch all the many birds at the feeders. And finally, Terry loved beautiful sunsets, starry nights, and the starry hanging lamp in our living room that he carried back on his lap from San Miguel Allende. He liked shooting stars and comets and full moons rising. I'm so glad we got to linger at Loch Lomond Marina on a warm evening in August to watch the lovely super blue moon rise over the water just a few nights before he passed. He was my best friend, and I miss him terribly. Now a few other family members are going to share their memories, and when we finish, we hope that each of you will continue sharing memories with each other. Thank you.